Hello everybody. In the last few weeks I've made a few videos that had to do with Islam. For example, my interpretations of the Quran, how Islam is compatible or not with the West. And as well, I wrote a poem yesterday which I've got overwhelmingly great feedback from. Some criticism, which is great. I welcome criticism. And if you've watched those videos, you know, I hope that my intention is to bridge the gap and to be open with the Islamic world about what my thoughts and feelings are. That's all I can do, is be honest, right? And in doing so, I risk offending some people, but I thought I was going to offend people in my last videos, and overwhelmingly it didn't. There was a few that might have did, but then there was a bunch of Islamic people that, you know, commented on the people who were offended and were like, just calm down. It's not. He's just being real. He's a genuine person, and that's exactly what I am. I'm just trying to be genuine and honest. But here's the thing: I have some concern, and this kind of goes to back to the video, which was is Islam compatible with the West? And the reason why I'm making this video is what happened today. Okay. So today I went to the beach with my girlfriend, okay, in Ontario, Canada. We're there on the beach and enjoying the sun, went for a little swim, and noticed that, okay, there was a lot of Islamic families there, okay, which is great. They're enjoying the sun, they're enjoying their time with their families and things. But what was kind of troubling to me was the fact that all of the guys were there in their shorts, shirtless, enjoying the sun. The sun has beautiful qualities and things. All of the women were wearing long sleeves, the hijabs, long pants. And I was like, it was a hot day today, like 35 degrees. It's like, I can only imagine how uncomfortable that would be. And I know that in Islamic countries, for the most part, it's like deserts and things, right? Well, it's really hot, more so than not. I know there's a few that might not be so, but overwhelmingly, Islamic countries are very hot. It's like, how can you subject women to covering themselves up? I have to ask that question. I'm posing that as a question to you guys. So if you have the answer, please leave in the comments. Now, I understand there's a religious component to it. There's modesty and privacy component to it. There is, and in the Islamic world, it varies. For example, I know in places like Saudi Arabia or Afghanistan, they're like this, right? Women, or even the ones that even covers the eyes. And they're walking around with burqas, right? Totally covered from the sun. You also know in other places like maybe Lebanon, Syria, Egypt, Morocco, you know, it's very modest clothing, but they're not totally covered. In some places, like, they still might wear burqa and things. For example, I have a friend of my girlfriend's. She's from Lebanon. She lives in Canada. Super nice girl. Really good friend of my girlfriend's. Very nice. Now, she wears very modest clothes, but it's very good clothes, very nice style, I think. And again, beautiful person, but again, very covers up everything, okay? And fine, I understand that. My girlfriend herself, she's a religious background, Christian, and she doesn't expose her breasts, like cleavage, you know what I mean, in public and things, like what a lot of Western girls do. And so I understand that there is a degree of modesty, which I can respect. Now, my background is massage therapy. That's what I do for a living. I deal with human bodies for a living. Specifically, 90% of my clients are female, where, you know, human bodies pretty well exposed. Their breasts aren't exposed, their private parts aren't exposed, but everything else is, right? So for me, human body is not a big deal. That's where I'm coming from with this. That's where I'm trying to make sense of this. Like, I know that's a specific situation in the massage itself, but like, I deal with the human body for a living. So for me, that is one reason why it doesn't make sense. The other one is, I believe the sun is healthy. The sun, that's where we get vitamin D from and things. And specifically, people who have darker complexion, I think they need more sun than like me, who's more white, even though I did get quite a bit of sun today. I don't know if you noticed. But so I think there's a health component there. Like, it's healthy to get sun. And when I was seeing these ladies and girls totally covered up in things, it was just like, but their husbands were shirtless, playing soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, on the beach. It's like, like I thought that was kind of odd for a sec, for a bit, you know what I mean? So I wanted to get your perspective on this and why that is. Why in the Islamic world is there, I would call it a form of neuroticism. Now, this is where I might offend some of you guys, and I apologize in advance for that, but my background in psychology, that's what I see it as, which is over degree of concern for that. And I think what's happening here is there's a traditional component, clearly, that's being projected upon your women. By who? Now, I imagine they're doing it in their own regards as well, through their own, like through voluntary means. But I imagine if some of them didn't want to wear it, it would be very poorly looked upon, especially if you're in these countries in itself, right? If you're in a place like Saudi Arabia, if a girl wanted to wear, to, you know, enjoy the sun and wear a t-shirt, it probably would not be a good thing, or, you know, their face and hair. Now, okay, I get the hijab and things, there's a traditional component there as well. But why do guys want to cover the female human body? Now, I'm going to raise this question, which is, if everything is made in guidance and, you know, structure with Allah, and everything that is a beautiful thing, well, why isn't the female human body a product of Allah and a beautiful thing that should be celebrated? It's I would call it a natural thing, a force of like a nature. Female human body is very natural, right? Now, I understand the fact that by an exposing of the female human body, that might bring, with guys, some negative perversions and such. But is that a reason to cover them up? Because some guys cannot handle it, so we got to, like, totally shield. That's exactly what I feel it is. Shielding the female human body from males and from in some kind of eliciting some kind of drive within the human response that's going to be negative. That, I believe, is, in psychology, would be a form of repression. And that's not healthy, in my regard. Now, again, I'm going to go back to the fact that I'm here to open dialogue with the Islamic world. That is very respectable. And I hope that you guys provide me with an answer. Maybe I am ignorant to. I would love to hear it, because I honestly do not know. Okay? But for me, it does not make sense, because the female human body is like a divine thing in itself. So why aren't we all celebrating it? And what is there to be afraid of? I don't know. Please fill me on that answer, because that blows my mind. Like, for example, like when I saw these women today, and they looked like very nice families, okay? Like, the women look, and I saw the interaction between the family and things I was watching, even though I didn't understand they're speaking Arabic. But it's like, yeah, they seemed like nice. They were eating food, they were playing football on the beach, like normal beach things, like that's fine. No judgment there whatsoever. But it's like, I don't know, there's something about that troubles me. And obviously I come from a different background and things, and I lived in Spain for 2 years, and in Spain, women were on the beach topless, and sometimes bottomless. Mostly topless, though. And that was the norm there. And it was no big deal. You know, men are topless. You know, what is it? A nipple? Who cares? Like, okay, there's a nipple. What's the big deal about that? Right? Here's some skin here. Look, this skin right here. Well, it's the same skin that's on me as a woman. What's the big deal? Is it because Islamic people cannot control their drives, where they're going to be, that's going to be too much for them? Or obviously it's not just that. Obviously there is cultural, social norms, and religious components to that. And I know it's not the same in every Islamic country, although I know that in Iran, before the Islamic Revolution, that there were women on the beach with bikinis and things. And then the Islamic Revolution happens. Now, modern day Iran, women have to wear the hijab, and they might be persecuted if they take that off. What are your thoughts and feelings about that? Is that justified? I would love to hear it, and be honest with me. I'm not here to debate or be disagreeable. I'm here to pose questions and be rational and critical thinking. And I hope that I injected that in with you guys. And I would hope that based on the people who are Muslims who watched my videos already, that you know that I come from a solid place of understanding and solid place of learning about the Quran and learning about Islam and bridging the gap between my culture and yours. It's not even my culture. I don't even associate myself with Western culture. I think there's a lot of messed up things with Western culture that I have nothing to deal with. Like, to be honest, I would have a hard time being with a Western woman because I just don't see eye to eye to them. My girl's from South America, and she's a much more traditional, much more conservative. So in that regard, I can respect that there might be some degree of modesty there. And like I said, her friend, good friend from Lebanon, very modest, dressed in very nice style dress, very beautiful person. You know, I have nothing against that, but in some other cultures where it's like this, and you know what I mean, in the hot sun and things, I just don't understand. I don't. I would love to hear your guys' perspective, and I'm just opening up this channel of response and feedback. Like, is there something wrong with seeing a woman in a t-shirt or in shorts, seeing their legs, seeing their ankles and knees and shoulders and neck and face and hair? Like, I don't see how that's an issue. I really don't. And again, I work with the human body for a living, specifically female human bodies in spas. Like, in that regard, it just, for me, is beyond my scope of perception of how that's even understandable. But I know there is a traditional component there and a potentially religious component. So please, leave in the comments, fill me in why that is the case. And again, I'm not going to judge you if you think that they should be. If women should be totally covered or just this covered, or okay, they can have the hair but have long sleeves only on the beach when it's like 35 degrees out Celsius. Like, explain how that is for me, why that should be, okay? Because I honestly think that's one of the issues that Islam in the West has kind of an issue with. Like, there's kind of a discrepancy there. So I'm not afraid to jump to these controversial issues and hit them dead on and throw that out, inject, and let's hear the response to that from you guys. Please, fill me in. Anyway, I'll just say one last thing, which is thank you for everybody's response on the recommendations from my further learning of Islam and the Quran. And I found that more enlightening than even reading the Quran itself, to be honest, in some regards. So thank you for that, from the bottom of my heart. Very compassionate, very, very great responses from everybody. 99% of people, beautiful. I thought I was literally going to offend a lot. I thought I was going to get a lot of angry Muslims on some of these videos being like, you're an idiot. But they're not. You guys are like, thank you for reading it, and I recommend this. That is very respectable in my view of things. So thank you for that. Anyway, leave in the comments what you think about this, and if you have any things you'd like me to also comment on, questions, concerns, or ideas, leave in the comments section below. Thank you for watching, guys. Peace.